Karibu sana to Prime 254 TV. I am your host this evening and my good name is Faith Kasena. I'll be bringing you straight to the heart of today's top stories for the next half hour. We're breaking down the stories you need to know right here, right now. So join the conversation on all our social media platforms at IRL News, use the hashtag IRL News, and do not forget to tag me at Faith Kasena. Is legalized the new high? Beyond drugs? What you need to know. She tried again. Nairobi woman reunited with abuser found murdered. Stage of siege. Butere girls unleash play on the country's government over botanical blunders. Beyond friend requests. The subtle path to online grooming. A parent's guide. The push to decriminalize or even fully legalize certain substances, particularly marijuana, is gaining momentum globally, and Kenya is not immune to these discussions. Tonight, we ask, what are the potential benefits, the undeniable risks, and what does this mean for our society, our youth, and the fabric of our laws? What have you gathered so far?
Unpacking the complex issue of marijuana legalization requires us to weigh a delicate balance of potential benefits against undeniable risk, to carefully consider the broader implications for Kenyan society and our legal framework. On to the potential benefits. Proponents of legalization often point to significant economic upsides. This includes the potential substantial tax revenue generated through regulated sales, which could be channeled into public services like education and healthcare. However, the risks are equally significant and warrant careful consideration. Experts warn of potential increases in marijuana use, particularly among youth, which should have adverse effects on brain development, mental health, and increase the risk of addiction. Reporting live from Nairobi City, my name is Marco Riwo.
Now joining us live now in studio is our analyst with more statistics on the matter. Kindly introduce yourself.
Well, let me start by thanking you for the opportunity to just have this conversation. So my name is Bansi. I'm a Sharia. I'm a board certified cognitive behavioral therapist, and I believe in the work of transformation. Yes, and I'm really grateful to be here today and having this conversation.
Could you elaborate on the primary route, because that contributes to the initial experimentation with drugs and substance?
A significant number of us have gone through the, you're like, how does this? Yeah. How, So we all go, okay, I'm going to say a good number of people go through that experimental stage. I just want to know, why do people take alcohol? Why do people do pot? Why, so you just want to experiment. Sometimes it's out of rebellion, sometimes it's availability. Mm-hmm.
Based on your expertise, what are the key indicators that someone may be struggling with drug use or addiction?
I think in Muranga in 2022, they had this thing they would literally do like a community count, so they would know when there's a foreign person in the village. So that foreign person would be captured, taken to the chief, interrogated, and if they are found guilty of supplying any product, they would be taken to the police station. And I was like, that's quite bold. That is so bold. By the time you know each other, to the point where there's a new person consistently coming within that environment, you're like, this is the one. Huyu ndo anasupply hizi vitu kwa watoto wetu.
What are some of the primary drivers for drug trafficking and consumption in our society?
Let me say that drugs have become a big deal in this country, and not just in Kenya, but it's a global thing. And I feel like the more people experience high levels of stress, economic hard times, many young people not getting jobs. It's leading them into looking for coping mechanisms. So if the government doesn't give you a job, then you find yourself seeking something that will give you pleasure, okay? And that's where drugs come in. It's very unfortunate that we live in a time when there are so many things that are very stimulating in our environment, be it behavioral stimulation, be it substance stimulation. There are so many things in our environment that are pleasure triggering or pleasure inducing, and by the time someone is going to seek for that pleasure inducing substance or behavior, that means that there's some pain that they are running away from. So for me, if this is not curbed, it's likely to continue, and then if we don't take care of the root cause of the problem, then no matter how much we keep busting these substances without addressing the problem or the root cause, then it's likely to still happen again.
We appreciate you taking the time to be here and sharing your expertise. Asante Sana. She tried again. These three words encapsulate a cycle of hope, vulnerability, and ultimately tragedy. They speak to the courage of individuals seeking safety only to be met with devastating violence. We bring you yet another case unfolding right here in Nairobi, a chilling echo of struggle faced by far too many. Our reporter with more.
The simple yet devastating phrase, "she tried again," speaks volumes about a society and a system that preys upon and fails to protect the weakest members of our society.
Now joining us live now in studio is our analyst with more statistics on the matter. Kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Faith Moilu. I'm a pupil at Kiruti and Company Advocates. I just finished my diploma in law at the Kenya School of Law, and I'm here to talk about the human rights and how it affects gender.
What is the core systematic issues that allow such violence against women to persist?
Let's talk about patriarchy. The world has embedded patriarchy. This is something that is injected in us universally, and gender-based violence is becoming a norm. It's like we have normalized it everywhere, not only in Kenya, and even with laws being put in place to protect women against violence, we have seen so many cases happening where women have been violated because, you know, they're women. Yeah. And to my second point, I will talk about economic dependence. In this, we are gonna talk about how family, in our everyday family, the man provides and the woman takes care of the family. So when women are violated in any way, they don't have a place to go because they financially depend on the man. They don't have any support system to make them leave the man, because as Kasina has said, when we talk about Naomi didn't have any place to go. She didn't know how to provide for her children, so the only place she could find solace was with her husband, who was violating her. We could also talk about culture. Kenya has diverse cultures, and one thing about our cultures is that women are seen as, I don't want to say objects, but yeah, well, our cultural makes women feel not important.
What legal frameworks are most urgently needed to address this crisis effectively?
There are a lot of legal frameworks that protect women. Universally, I want to say there exist laws that Kenya is a part of. We have the CEDAW and Universal Declaration Human Rights. In Kenya, I'll start with the Constitution. The Constitution protects women. Under Article 27, non-discrimination, and under Article 28, it provides for human dignity, that generally advocates for women's rights. There's also a statute protection against domestic violence. All this, we have the best law there is, but the problem is implementing, enforcing these laws to protect the said women.
What is the most critical aspect of international human rights and law that needs strengthening to provide more effective protection?
We have principles including equity. Equity comes to you as you are. We protect you as the person you are, not because the law allows it. We have equality. It doesn't mean if you are a male or female, we are all equal under the Constitution. We have dignity and non-discrimination. These are among the many principles that are quoted in the 2010 Constitution, and I would say we have upheld the Constitution nicely as of now, and if we continue that way, we are gonna protect the women at the end of the day.
Thank you for your time and for sharing such invaluable insights on such pressing matters.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to talk about human rights.
We're going for a short commercial break. A whole lot more discussions after this break, so keep the conversation going on all our social media platforms at IRL News. Use the hashtag #InRealLifeNews and do not forget to tag me at Faith Kasina. And we are back. If you're just joining us, this is IRL News in Prime 254 Studios. My good name is Faith Kasina, so let's pick up where we left off. It's a stage of siege when art becomes a battleground. Do we call it an attack on the moral and creative fabric of our society? Explore the powerful drama that ignited the nation, raising critical questions about free expression and the voices of a free generation. Our reporter with more.
This drama has highlighted the significance of youth voices in shaping political discourse. Abandoned by convention, these young women have used the power of theater to engage with critical issues, demanding accountability and sparking conversations that reach far beyond the stage. Their art is a form of civic participation, a challenge to do the status quo. The reaction to echoes of war serves as a crucial test for Kenya's commitment to free speech. In a healthy democracy, art should be a platform for exploration and even dissent. Attempts to censor or silence these young voices send a chilling message about the space for critical thought and artistic freedom in our society. Ultimately, this controversy underscores the power of art to provoke and to challenge. The lessons we learn from how we navigate this battleground will determine the extent to which we truly value free expression and the vital contributions of a free and engaged generation to our democracy. Reporting live from Nairobi, my name is Felipe Sinyembo.
Now, to help us unpack this complex issue, we're also joined by a leading political analyst who has been closely following these developments. Welcome to studio and thank you for being here. Kindly introduce yourself.
My name is Andre Otieno. I work at Emerging Leaders Foundation as a program officer. I run a program called Governance and Civic Engagement. Apart from working at ELF, I'm a youth advocacy enthusiast in working on all matters governance and democracy.
Could you provide some background on the current state of freedom of expression in Kenya?
So I feel that there needs to be a mindset shift. The older generation, the larger millennials and the baby boomers, were people who lived within certain parameters. We are having a whole new generation that, number one, are informed. These are not the people that you can lie to. These are people who can excavate any form of information from whichever time things happen, or a certain state officer said what. And bringing all these things and analyzing how we are changing our narratives, or the things we said we believed in many years ago, now we are changing those beliefs. We can still bring them and show that this is what you said, which is not a fact, or this is what you said back in the days and now this is what you're saying. So the older generation needs to accept that this is an age of information, and not just information, but people who can manipulate that information to address whichever agenda they're trying to address. So it is upon the older generation to give the young people room, to keep them in check, to be the people who now do what we call the public watchdog. So the young people will use technology, and the older generation must now accept that things are not the way it used to be.
How significant is youth activism and artistic expression in shaping the political discourse in our country?
The very recent disruption of what do we call it? The performance that was supposed to take place, or that was supposed to be staged by the Butere girls, presents to us a very bad picture of where we are as a country. And it will take all the good people of goodwill to realize that we need to protect the freedom of expression. We know our history. We know the many people that died along the way trying to fight for us to have that power. And one of the greatest power we have as a people is the power to express ourselves. The moment we try to curtail this, it means that we are heading for the very dark days. We are in the age of communication, the age of technology, the age of information. There is no way a government can try to thwart those efforts.
What lessons can be learned from the situation regarding the protection of free speech, creative expression, and particularly for the young people?
My message to the young people is very simple. It is never easy. If you read the books of history, you realize it has never been easy. From Martin Luther King back in the days, to Franz Fanon, to even our own leaders in this country like J.M. Kariuki's. Even the Jomo Kenyattas, before they became presidents, they had to really go through a tough way. So for anything to be enjoyed, for any form of freedom and liberty to be enjoyed in any country, there must always be a struggle. And these are the challenges that we have to face. But the only thing that we cannot afford right now is to keep quiet. We cannot allow our voices to be silenced. They can kill one of us, they can kill three of us, they can kidnap three of us, but they can never kill all of us. And this, we owe it to ourselves, but also to the children that will come after us. The only thing we're looking for is good governance. And for us to achieve that good governance, we have to keep the government in the lenses of our cameras, of our eyes. Whichever tool we are going to use to advocate for good governance, we will have to. They can kill a few of us, but they cannot kill all of us.
Thank you very much for those insights on the role of democracy. We appreciate you for joining us in studio tonight.
Thank you so much.
In today's digital age, our children and youth navigate a vast online world filled with both opportunity and unseen dangers. The simple click of a friend request can open doors to unforeseen risks. Tonight, we delve into the critical issue of child and youth safety online, exploring the challenges, the threats, and the urgent need for greater awareness and protection.
The online world is a reality for our kids, full of good and bad. That simple friend request can be harmless, but it can also open doors to danger. We're here tonight to talk about keeping our children and youth safe online right here in Nairobi and beyond. It's about understanding the traps like online grooming and cyberbullying and knowing how we as parents and our community can offer greater awareness and real protection in this digital age. Reporting live from Nairobi City, my name is Nicole Buyaki.
Joining us now to provide more insights is someone whose work is children. Jerry Kishuru, an analyst on child and youth safety online, has more information for us.
Hi, my name is Njeri Kariuki. I am a marriage and family therapist student at Park University. I am also been a former children's pastor in Mamlaka Hill Chapel, and I have been a teacher.
What is one thing you always advocate for that social media companies should do differently right now to make their sites safer for younger people?
I must say that there are many things that they are trying to do now that the communications, for example, the Communication Authority of Kenya and other bodies that are really looking at the protection of the children online, and that they're on it and conversation is happening. There are things that have been placed, there are policies that have been placed that are geared towards protecting children. So that I have to say that we do have policies that are working to protect children, and there are laws that are coming up so that the child can be protected even online. So one of the worrying trends that I must say is that things change very fast. In this world of technology, every day is a new day, literally. And there are new trends that are coming up, the new schemes and scams that are coming up that are geared towards harming children. And it might be too fast for the world to catch up on, or even the children might find it very interesting, so they might hop on to every new trend. So I think the fact that every day is a new day in the tech world is one of the worrying trends. But of course we have to keep up, and many conversations are happening within all spheres, you know, in the family setup, in the school setup, in the home setup. I mean, even doctors are coming in to let us know and have a conversation on how to protect children. And when we talk about protecting children, it's in all ways. It's in their mental state, their physical health, their education, their physical development, their mental development. In all ways, for sure. We are all having these conversations in different sectors, yes.
What advice do you give to parents to help protect their kids in online spaces?
One of the things that are mostly I can pinpoint right now is to have a good relationship and good communication with their children. This will make sure that the child has trust in the parent and in the relationship with the parent, so that in case there's any danger, the parent will be their number one protection or number one go-to when they are in need. Also, when there is good times, that the parent will also be able to hear and listen to the children or to the child. So number one is to have a really good relationship and open communication with the children.
We hear a lot about all the bad stuff going on online, but are there any positive ways technology is helping to keep these kids educated, informed, and safe?
Yes, of course, there are. Technology has really enhanced children's creativity, and in different ways. There are children who are into robotics. So children are able to create and to be innovators even while using technology. So that's one of the biggest things that I can say has really been on the forefront of the positive parts of tech, that it has allowed children to explore, to also communicate with other people. I mean, you can have a child in Mandera speaking to another child in the Coast region or in Meru or in anywhere, or even connect with their own family members who are far away from each other. During COVID times, there were people who couldn't meet as families for the obvious reasons, the travel restrictions. But with tech, the children were able to connect with their grandparents. They were able to connect with parents who are living abroad. So tech does have a positive side to it. We know of many children who are able to even present their artwork and their literacy work throughout the world. The children who are writing books and they're able to publish online. So we cannot demonize tech fully, because it has been used as a tool to enhance the development of a child in many different ways. Of course, there are schools that have also picked up technology and are using it to disseminate information in the easiest ways possible. Of course, audio-visual, there are children who are now able to see how a heart works during biology class, and they don't have to literally think apart a rat. But they're able to see how a human heart works through technology. They're able to even create in their own ways games that they play, and that enhances their creativity and their large aspect of knowledge.
What challenge around child and youth safety online that you think we need to start figuring out now?
I think one thing is the age of introduction to technology. I think that's one of the things that we need to have a conversation on, and looking at technology as a tool for the parent, and not just leave it to the child to choose or to explore without guidance. That's one of the things that I may say is really important to look at when we're looking at the fact that, as you said, technology is here to stay. So, and first enhancing the relationship with the child and the bonding and the attachment of the child from the beginning. When literacy, when we have the child born, we must be able to ask ourselves, or even have a conversation with ourselves and with our partners on how technology will be used in the home, and also advance it when a child is joining school, or when you're choosing a school. Have that conversation with the teachers and the administrators of how technology and is being used in school, and for what reasons. Because different children may have different exposures or different struggles with technology. We may have a child who is addicted to technology and is on a treatment plan of reducing the hours of being online, and then they go to school and it's quite different. The school is using online technology to a larger chunk of their schooling or during the day. So conversations must happen from the home level to the school level to the community level, and seeing what works for the child and what is best for the child, and will not deter the child's development in whatever way.
Thank you so much, Njeri, for joining me in studio. Your insights have been quite educative.
Karibu sana.
Well, now, my esteemed viewers, that is all we had prepared for you. The conversation continues on all our social media platforms at IRL News. Use the hashtag #RealLifeNews, and do not forget to tag me at Faith Kasina. Until next time, stay informed, stay connected. I have been your host, Faith Kasina.